MLS Aces Podcast. This is your host, Tom Sweezy. This is episode 348 with Jason Vivang. Jason, you are very stressed out. You're very busy, but
We're
still
good, man.
appreciate
We're
you.
great.
I appreciate you. It's all I got to
Hey,
say.
I like the hour or so soccer talk once a week. It's definitely worth it.
Exactly. It's a nice little break for us, break for the people, right? And that's all we're trying to do is just be a
Yeah,
break for you.
we like talking about it, and some people like listen to it. I don't know
Exactly.
why, but
I ask myself that every single week, but here we are. The other good news for you, Chicago, they officially got approval from the city,
yeah,
2028 new stadium. That's big. That's big.
yeah, that happened yesterday. I got an
Yep.
email about it. The stadium is basic. I mean, I guess it's approved. They redid the zoning approval or
Yeah,
whatever.
which is
So
big. That's
in
literally
2028, like when I read that, I was like, whoa, that's actually pretty fast. And I'm
yeah.
assuming that means like the start of 2028 for the season.
Ah,
So
I would not
who
assume
knows?
that, sir. I would
That's actually a
not.
good point.
I wouldn't assume that.
Actually, what I'm assuming is they probably want to do that, and there's
Yeah,
absolutely it'll be 2029, knowing construction in Chicago.
yeah. I mean,
But
knowing construction,
regardless, like the idea of that and like the whole, I don't know if people have seen the renderings. If not, I would just
renderings
Google
are
it.
cool.
It looks really nice. It's right along the river. Looks like it'll be pretty accessible based on when they first announced the site. I kind of did some research on
Yeah,
getting there and stuff. And they actually put out a survey to people, and one of them, fans. I got the survey, so I took it, and it was like about how you get to the games, what's your preferred method of
yeah.
travel, like what do you want to have in the stadium, what is like the idea for non-game days, do you want things on game days when they're away, cool stuff like that. So they're definitely listening. Like this new
Good.
system, Joe Mansueto coming in, like it's been positive, and I'm sure people realize like the team is much better and actually like competitive. So
Well,
things
that's
are
the
looking up
thing.
in Chicago.
Is like you like and I'm experiencing this myself with New York City getting their stadium for 2027, right? It's you can't be complete a trash soccer team heading into a brand
Yeah.
new stadium opening. You want a little bit of buzz, a little bit of hype leading into what's ultimately going to be hopefully this like big explosion of talent, wins, fun
Well,
environment,
and like
all of
we
that.
obviously spend money. We're one of the
Yeah,
higher payrolls or whatever for the team in Major League Soccer. So
yeah,
the results need to start coming. And like I would say, we've talked about it a little bit off air. Is like they're making the right steps, and the team is definitely looking better. I think if Greg sticks around for like the long term, and he's still there in 2028, and the team hopefully will still be improving and be like a playoff contender by then.
I mean, you're a playoff contender in 2025. Let's not let's
I mean contender in the sense of like home playoff spots. Like we're a
got
playoff, like I would say we're like a playoff hopeful kind of team.
yeah.
Personally, and I think I've said this plenty of times, I think the playing game, like if we lose the playing game, I don't feel like I consider that making the playoffs. But if the Fire lose in the playing game, I would still consider that like a good season for the Fire based on the history of what we've had for the last decade.
It's
But
improved.
like playoff contender, like in 2028, I want to be like going into the season, playoffs or bust. In like
Yeah.
talking home playoff games.
No, and look, I think again the way you guys spend this, the way that this new ownership is kind of taking things on. A new stadium is fun. A new stadium will
Yeah.
attract players. It's easier to attract a world class superstar, or not even a world class superstar, any kind of player.
Yeah.
When you're saying, "Hey, it's not Soldier Field. You're
Yeah,
playing."
we have our own stadium that we
Exactly.
control the grass, we control the what's there and
Exactly.
when what's there, the events, and like they're just investing money into the club, and I think like Chicago is obviously a big market, so big time players should want to come here
Yeah.
if the right systems are in place. And obviously, being in Bridgeview for so long was not necessarily the best choice. I'm pretty sure they regretted that one. Soldier Field's been decent. It is in the city, but actually getting to and from Soldier Field is not easy.
Got it.
But
I mean,
overall, like it was a better step, and this will be even another good step. So
100%. I think, look, more soccer-specific stadiums are good, are
yeah.
fun. You're always going to
Plus,
have.
like, I forget how many seats they said. It's probably like 25 to 30 or something.
I would assume somewhere.
Thousand, and it's just gonna feel better. Like, it's gonna feel more crowded and better. And like, I've gone to Minnesota and been in the wall or whatever, the standing room section for the fans, and like, it's nice. Like, it's not a huge stadium and it feels good. I went to a USA game in Cincinnati Stadium. It feels good. Like, it even like at Soldier Field, it doesn't feel good when you look up and it's just empty
It's
seats.
just empty.
Yeah,
There's a reason why when I think like you and I could talk about the best environments in Major League Soccer, it's Orlando, it's Cincy, it's Minnesota, it's LAFC, it's these teams that have, right, like you're not building a 50,000 seater stadium. You're building a stadium with the seating and the capacity that is realistic for what MLS is bringing in right now. And it gives you an advantage. It gives you an energy and a fun environment.
And it makes them like them having their own stadium. And I feel like there's a lot of people in Chicago, at least just walking around, who really don't follow or even know what's going on with the Fire, because like they're playing in Soldier Field. It's like, oh, that's the Bears stadium. You know, these things. It's like having their own stadium is sort of going to be like, oh, there's a soccer team here, you know? And I'm not saying, like, for me, obviously, like, I know, but I think a lot of people don't realize that, like, it's a professional team.
But do you know
which
who
sounds
you're
stupid,
talking
but like,
to? You're talking to the guy who rents out fucking baseball stadiums. Like, literally, I was having a conversation with my brother-in-law a few months ago, and he was like, fucking that soccer team in New York is really like, it messed up the first baseline for the Yankees.
Well,
And
that's
it's like,
what I mean. It's like it doesn't seem like it, yeah, you probably have the same experience. It's like it's a big city. They should have their own stadiums, because then it's like, I'm going to this huge soccer stadium that's for our professional team. You know, it's not I'm going to the Bears stadium to watch a soccer team play, you know.
And I will also say, and we're not going to talk much about New York City getting smacked by Inter Miami, but if they can fill out a stadium with that many pink jerseys on a fucking Wednesday night, like, you know, come support New York City when 2027 opens up, and let's get a bunch
That's what I hate. Actually, that's
jerseys.
like one of the things I really hate. It's like I think it was probably 2 years ago. It was the first time Messi was going to play in Chicago, and it was a Wednesday night at Soldier Field, and it was like 70,000+ people. The entire thing was opened up, packed place. And I was sitting there like, you're telling me we can get 70,000 people to come to this game on a Wednesday night, and we can barely get 20,000 for the weekend on a Saturday at 1:00 on a beautiful day? Like, it pisses me off a little bit, because it's like, what do you got? Like, you clearly care and you know things are going on, but like, come to the Fire game.
It's the SpongeBob meme of like when Patrick Star comes home with the groceries and he's like, "Who are you people?" Like, that's what this feels like sometimes.
But like, I'm not stupid. Like, I get Messi's like this huge draw, and it makes total sense why a ton of more people would want to see Messi and be there for that. But it's like, you can make the effort for a Wednesday night game, and then you're obviously going to see Messi. But like, the Fire played really well that night, and like, all those people just don't care, which is kind of sad, you know?
Look, maybe you get a few scragglers of like, wow, that was fun. I
think that's the point. Like, you get, if 5% come to another game, you've already, you know, the Messi effect or whatever has been a positive. And I think that's why the league has been pushing Messi. And like, I know people hate the whole Miami stuff, but like, it probably is benefiting outside of like maybe Seattle, Portland, LAFC probably has their LA Galaxy, like teams that have very solid fan bases, like Columbus, Cincinnati. Like, outside of those teams, it's probably like, we're going to get our fans regardless. But like, for Chicago, for New York, probably for Kansas City, like, even if a few people continue coming, like, it was worth it for the league.
I don't look. Did I think we would get into a stadium?
Yeah, I didn't know we were going to talk about the Fire.
The Lionel Messi effect. I'm gonna pause it because there's a lot to talk about, and
we're only almost 10 minutes in.
After New York City's performance this past midweek game day, whatever.
Okay, wait.
I don't want to talk about Lionel Messi.
New York City is still clinched a playoff spot, tied for 4th on points with Charlotte.
Yes.
has let me pull up my form chart. This is how I
The
know the
form has
remaining
been
games.
good. The form has been
You have
very
at RBNY, at Philly, and then home for Seattle. So that's tough. But Charlotte's win streak is gone. They have a very easy remaining schedule, actually. Yeah, you're kind of.
Yeah,
It's
I
gonna be
mean,
tough.
look, I
But like
told
finishing
you.
fifth, like you guys are in a good spot.
No, look, I had us predicted preseason out of the playoffs. So if we're fifth, sixth, if we're 4 to 6, I'm thrilled for 2025. Don't get me wrong. And then look, I say it about every sport. I'm saying it about the New York Mets right now. Just get in the dance, and then we'll see what happens. Like that's all you really got to do with the playoffs at a certain point,
Yeah.
especially the MLS Cup playoffs. But all right, let's dive into all of the stuff that we need to talk about. Um, let's go DC United. They have hired their next managing director of soccer operations in Erkut Sogut. He has never worked in a club, a soccer team, whatever we want to talk about, before. He is coming out of a career as a sports agent and a lawyer. DC actually hired Sogut to help identify and recruit their new manager, Renee Weiler.
So he like
And then
worked as a contractor or something,
yeah, I
and
think
then
he was a contractor to help bring
yeah.
in the manager. And then he was like, oh, you guys are getting rid of Ali Mackay.
No, you need
Guess
more. You need another role.
literally, yeah, I got you. So, you know, I'm not
DC
here
doing
to
their
beat
own
a
thing, honestly.
I'm not here to beat a dead horse with the DC conversation. They're cheap. They'll figure out ways to not spend as much money to improve, in my honest opinion. And I think this is just another case of it. And I'm not trying to sit here and shit on a guy. Maybe
It
he
could work
brought
out.
it could.
It's just like it's like half-assed, and it's almost like they're planning for when it doesn't work out to be like, well, we just
Yeah.
hired a guy who's not done it before. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like it at all, really. But I'm not saying like I have no idea if it's gonna work. Like we've never seen this kind of thing before.
I
So
just think like if the last guy that was doing this job was doing it so poorly that you need to improve, right? Like that's the whole point of firing someone and hiring someone new. You get a guy who has less experience than the previous guy, who doesn't know the league, who's never. You're on mute, Jason. Oh boy.
it's early-ish.
It is. It is.
Why don't they look at like USL teams? Like find someone in there to like Louisville City has been a successful USL club. Why have they been successful? Because of people in management. Can
Yeah.
one of those people in management help DC be successful? Probably. Boom.
This
I just solved all of their problems.
this
That took
isn't
me 10
about
seconds.
a sporting director, soccer director, whatever, every club calls it differently. But Louisville City in the USL Championship, their manager Danny Cruz just became the youngest manager in USL history to get 100 wins in USL Championship. Maybe hire Danny. Maybe some club out there should hire Danny Cruz. Is all I'm saying. Just shout out Danny Cruz. All right, let's. We don't need to get hung up on DC United too much this episode. Sergio Busquets, he's announced that he will retire from professional soccer at the end of the 2025 MLS season. The 37-year-old currently has 105 games played for Miami with 1 goal and 16 assists. This is obviously kind of what we were talking about during the summer with the whole Rodrigo de Paul transfer saga of Busquets retiring, opening up a DP spot. Rodrigo de Paul, the transfer becomes not alone an official transfer, and DePaul is the DP for Miami in 2026. I don't know. Any thoughts around that? I just feel like it was important to say
I
on the
feel like
podcast.
we knew this was coming, and like the League Cup suspension looks even funnier. So
Yeah, Busquets is like, I don't give a fuck what I do right now.
yeah, he's like, I'll punch someone.
Yeah, I'll punch a kid. I'll punch a kid. Look, in all non-joking terms, Sergio Busquets has actually, I think, surpassed what I expected him to come in and do at Miami. Right?
I didn't think he'd play 100 games at Miami. I'll give you
I
that.
didn't think he'd be as good as what he was. And I know, right? Like he's a legend of the game, one of the best ever at his position, and I'm not taking that away from him. But he came in at 35 years old, 34 years old, and I didn't think he'd be playing at the level of what he did, especially with the miles that Major League Soccer puts on soccer players' legs ultimately. And he's done it pretty well up until this year, really, is where I think you start to see some of the cracks in his game. But, shout out Sergio Busquets is all I'll say to that, I guess. Anything else on your end?
No.
No? Okay, cool. Sorry.
I mean, a hell of a career, but most of it wasn't in MLS. So it's going to
100
be a loss for like the soccer community. But
100 games in MLS, or I guess not in MLS, but 100 games for an MLS club is a big deal.
That's the thing that caught me by surprise. I was like, 105 games? Like, what? That's for real?
And
What's Messi at? He's got to be over that, right?
In total, no.
He's getting injured a little bit more than.
Hang on. I was gonna say Busquets might have more.
He probably has the most out of Alba and Messi in him.
Now I gotta look at this. Hang on. I'm here. Everyone,
Alba.
we're doing great radio here. This isn't
live
radio.
searches. Let's do
it. Lionel Messi. This is fucking hysterical. I need you to.
Are you on Transfer Market?
I'm on Transfer Market. Lionel Messi has 77 games played for Inter Miami, which surpasses his time at PSG. But what do you think his goals and assists are in his 77 games played for Miami?
I mean, it's got to be over 1 goal and assist a game. I'm going to think it's like 88.
Total?
Yeah. Is it over 100?
It's over 100.
How is it a lot over 100?
I'll just say it because we have other stuff to talk about. 66 goals, 32 assists in 77 games. That's
not over 100.
No, that's not. That's really bad, man.
I actually wasn't that far off.
No, you weren't.
I said 88. He's at like 98.
Okay, we don't. It's not early in the morning. I really can't use it as an excuse, but
Alba has 92 matches played for Miami.
Yeah, it makes sense that Messi has the least amount played between those three, for sure. It makes sense.
That's so funny that I was actually pretty close.
No, you were.
I was way off.
You were on it. I'm a moron. That's what it comes down to. My brain doesn't turn on until about.
I was like, what is he at 115 or something?
Yeah. Well, okay. 98 goals in 77 games is still ridiculous, but
I mean anything. I mean 88 would have been insane.
Yeah, right. 77 would have been a goal contribution a game.
65 would have been insane. Okay, we're just good. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Just some injury news around Major League Soccer. So Brianna McKay over at the Columbus Dispatch, shout out Brianna because she's been on top of all of the Columbus Crew injury news over the entire season, but over the last few weeks especially. But Wissam Abu Ali is going to be out for at least the rest of the regular season, according to Brianna McKay. And then she also is reporting that Mo Farsi underwent sports hernia surgery on the 24th. She did report some good news for the Crew that Diego Rossi and Sean Zawadzki were training on the sideline this week, leading up into their game against Chicago. But I think Wilfred Nancy said that Rossi won't be playing versus Chicago. So good news for you guys, I guess, Jason. But the Columbus Crew, I mean, did I sit here and think that they were going to be falling down as much as they have in this last stretch of the season? No, but I know last week, Jason, you were very like, Columbus is going to be fine, whatever. I don't know at this point.
I'm a little worried. Like they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But playing game is looking a little bit more likely than I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at their form, it's not good. MLS, they've won 3 games since the start of July. I mean, we're almost in October. This is a team that's competing for trophies. And I said last week that is this a team that can just flip a switch? I know in basketball, people always talk about LeBron and stuff, and it's or the Warriors when they were at their peak were coasting and then they could just flip the switch in the playoffs. But it's I'm not that confident as I was probably previously. This Columbus team, I still think with Wilfred Nancy in a playoff system is terrifying.
It's competitive.
It's just they're going to hit you and they're going to know what they want to do and they're going to go into the game everyone's going to know what they need to do. And I think that's very scary and a really, really good, like, one of the reasons they've had a lot of success is because of that coaching and that like ability to just be like, whoever's in, even with injuries, they've been able to figure out how to win games against really good teams. Now, this is a little concerning. I'm still probably not that worried about them though. Like, I'll say this though, like if they're in the playing game and they have to play like, for instance, Miami, who if they win their games in hand will be top of the East, I'm not confident in Columbus.
Well, that's what I was about to say is like, sure. And this is me really not taking a shot at the fire, but it's like, could I see them in the playing game against Chicago, making it out of the playing game? And then you have to go play. I don't care if it's Philly, Cincy, Miami. Do I think that they're going to stack up well against that if Abu Ali's still out and Rossi isn't, playing at the top of his game? You still have no Mo Farsi, and this is a team that's very thin across the board, and that's how Wilfred Nancy likes it. But it leaves me for some concern. Do I have long-term concerns about the Columbus Crew? No, I think this is just injuries and it happens.
As long as Wilfred Nancy's there and Issa Tall is there, I'm not feeling concerned.
For sure. I just have some concerns about some of these players not really stepping up, like a Daniel Gazdag, like a Jason Russell Rowe continues to not get starts when he's your second leading goal scorer, and Rossi's out, and now Abu Ali's out. So it's an interesting situation going on with Columbus. Like I said, sure, could I see Columbus knocking off some teams and doing it in a surprise fashion, a quote unquote surprise fashion? But I don't know. I don't believe it at this point right now. I think this is where injuries stack up, and it sucks.
Yeah, this season is starting to look, I hate to say like definitively like lost because it's still Columbus, but I don't know. Maybe look, Columbus can win out. They could end up ahead of Nashville. It might be Nashville or Orlando versus Chicago. I mean, it's looking like it's hopefully going to be Chicago. It could be the Red Bulls, but
it could be, yes.
Please, world, don't do this to me. But let's say Columbus gets out, I don't know who the best option would be. Like they're setting themselves up to play away to Miami, Cincinnati, Philly, probably not Charlotte, potentially though. Look, all of those teams though are scary.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, look, we can have a very similar conversation out west with Minnesota. Kelvin Yeboah, Carlos Harvey are both going to be out for extended periods of time, according to Eric Ramsey. Ramsey calling both of their injuries regular season-ending injuries, which is just a weird way of wording it. Are they going to be out in the playoffs? I guess maybe not, because the playoffs stretch on so long. Like, there's a chance, but it's a very weird way.
There's only 3 games left, so are they? He's not saying they're coming back right.
I guess
the end of October, or
there's 3 weeks left. Then there's the play-in game week, so that's 4. So it's like it's could you come back in the middle of that 3-game first round series? Possibly. So it's a very weird.
They do it. This is crazy.
That's what I'm saying, is it drags on so long that there's probably a chance. I did see Kelvin Yeboah's Instagram post. It did not read very well, so I'm going to assume, no Yeboah, no Carlos Harvey, Taniolo Asei sold, gone. He scored.
That's looking like a rough sale at this point. I mean, good for him and good for the money, but they really could have used him.
Yeah, Minnesota is getting stretched out very, very thin for a team that honestly I was like, I can go see them winning MLS Cup. If we're going to talk, the same conversation that I feel like I say every week, and apologies everybody, who's putting the ball in the back of the net? I don't know who it is. Like, Joaquin Pereira is fantastic, but I'm not.
Bong Huangwei.
Bongi, I mean, it could be Bongi, but Bongi's been playing as a right wing back for the last season and a half because of Oluwaseyi playing up top. It's
they really could have used Tani. It's crazy actually how that worked out.
Exactly. I mean, look, again, if Eric Ramsey's here in 2026, I have confidence Minnesota is going to be completely fine.
Yeah.
It's just the injuries, the transfers. I understand you have to make sales when you get the offers kind of deal, but we will see. Minnesota's bringing in a lot of new faces, a lot of new names, and trying to figure out, who's going to be leading their attack all at the same time. And the playoffs are here in less than a month. So
I think though, if they, if they get their, Yeboah back, I don't think I'm like that concerned because the rest of their season is at Colorado, home to Kansas City, at the Galaxy. Those are all three very winnable games. Even without your best players, right? Like
sure.
Two of those teams are playing for nothing at the moment. And they're contrary to Columbus, they're already in a home playoff spot. Based on points, it's kind of hard to lose this home playoff spot.
I think Minnesota are in a better spot than Columbus right now.
They're 100%. It's not even debatable. But
even my thing of like you get Kelvin Yeboah back. I love Kelvin Yeboah. I picked him for my Golden Boot, preseason pick. It's not like he's been completely lights out this year, putting the ball in the back of the net.
But he is a guy who can get hot all of a sudden, and when you're in the playoffs in that kind of atmosphere, it's like a tournament atmosphere. If he gets hot, you're winning games.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But that just also depends on how healthy he is when he comes back.
Yes. Let's move forward. Let's quickly go into the U20 World Cup. Obviously, I think in the past on this podcast, we've covered it very much in depth. It's a weird timing, I think, with the World Cup.
They caught me off guard. I'm like, it starts tomorrow?
Well, usually it's in the middle of the summer, which is fine typically because it gives us a little bit of a break of talking MLS week in and week out. But it does start tomorrow, September 27th. It's in Chile. The U.S. are in a group with France, South Africa, and New Caledonia. I don't know what happened to Old Caledonia, but so that was a bad joke. That one was in my brain when I was typing out these notes. But the U.S. kick off their run against New Caledonia on September 29th. We don't need to dive into every single grouping and whatnot, but is there a few players you're excited about on this roster, Jason? Because I could go nerdy into most of these guys, but I don't.
I really like the center back group.
It's a strong overall, really quick, very strong defensive group. Very strong.
Well, I'm obviously I was high on Nolan Norris going into the season. It's been kind of a injury / up and down experience. Plus, FC Dallas is just doing FC Dallas things.
They're fine.
Joshua Winder, obviously, I think a lot of people are high on Joshua Winder. Yeah. It's just cool to me also. But also just going from Louisville City to Benfica is cool, and I just really want him to be successful because it just shows that USL is developing and really working and making good players. And we obviously know that, and there's been some good crossover from USL to MLS, but
the Diego Luna shout out. Sorry.
Yeah. And then Noah Cobb from Colorado. I'm those center backs are probably top of my mind. I think central midfield, Benjamin Kremasky, we all know he's a good player. I think he kind of got screwed over a bit in Miami when he was clearly successful there. And I don't understand. I know Miami doesn't like American players. If that's the case, that's a really bad reason because he was definitely helping them. So I guess those guys.
All right, let me see if I can anyone in between that I like. Look, Reed, the left back group between Reed Baker Whiting, Luca Bombino. Baker Whiting has been fantastic as I don't know. I want to call him a backup left back, but he's been playing a lot of games for Seattle this season.
Yeah. I feel there's more guys on this than normal where I'm they've actually played, they have a decent amount of games under them.
I think that just maybe shows you where, Major League Soccer's at, right? 16 of these guys are on MLS contracts, and a lot of these guys are playing.
Actually playing, yeah.
Yeah, look, Luca Bombino is the other left back on this roster. He's arguably been one of the best left backs in all of Major League Soccer for a team fighting for a shield, you know?
And a team that literally just came together.
Yeah, well, that too. Frankie Westfield at right back for the Union. He's been great this year. Let me see. Xavier Gozo for RSL. He's had a little bit of a breakout. Peyton Miller for the Revs. I mean, he's listed as a winger on this roster. He's been playing left wing back for the Revs, and he's been one of the lone bright spots on a very bad New England team. Obviously, you have Cole Campbell at Dortmund. I mean, like, yeah, he's gonna get Champions League minutes hopefully this year and whatnot. You know, there is a lot of fun players on this team, and I'm excited to see what they can do, and you know, maybe go on a little run in the U20 World Cup, because I think defensively this team is strong. I like the winger group, and it's really just going to be putting balls in the back of the net.
It's also like an interesting group, like France, South Africa, New Caledonia. Yeah. We're going to have games where we're really going to get to see how good we are, and then stack up against a team like France, who are known for being successful at every single level, right?
You want to talk about a U20 team that has professional minutes under their belt?
Yeah, that's like France. We're talking a team like I just like the idea that we're going to be able to see this team play against like legitimate pros, and then probably get some games where they can put up some numbers. Hopefully,
yeah, for sure, for sure. All right. In terms of, I guess that's really it in terms of everything but major. Ooh, sorry, that was the coffee.
Open cup.
Sorry,
we got our wish.
Yes. Well.
Wait. I meant Canadian Championship. Open Cup's fine too. Let's go Open Cup.
Okay. Let's go Open Cup. So obviously we weren't able to talk about it last week, but Austin FC did defeat Minnesota United.
I felt bad because I feel like I personally, I don't know if you feel this way, but I don't feel like I gave Austin a chance, man. And I feel bad to the Austin fans.
I was a little more definitive that I thought Minnesota was going to handle business, especially at Minnesota. But yeah, Austin, now we have to give Austin the credit. They won 2-1 in extra time. Hard fought game. You know, some questionable non-red cards potentially to certain players on Austin, but I'm not going to dive too deep into that. But
what is a game without questionable moments?
Yeah. What is a cup semifinal without
without something going crazy?
And then that same guy scoring a goal like not that much longer into the match for you. Whatever. Austin FC, they're gonna host Nashville SC in the US Open Cup final on October 1st. Nashville, obviously, we've spoken about their journey. They've defeated Chattanooga Red Wolves, Orlando City, DC, and now Philly to get to the final, where Austin has taken down Jason's El Paso Locomotive, Houston, San Jose, and now Minnesota to get to the final. These teams have not faced off yet in 2025, and you know, I like to look at the historical matchups. I don't know how much they really mean, but Nashville does hold the advantage with 2 wins in the 4 games that these two teams have squared off against each other all time. But we talked a lot in Nashville last week. I do think we have to give Austin their credit that it was a hard-fought win on the road. Doing that in Minnesota, even with Minnesota's struggles going on right now, it's not like Minnesota's a poor team defensively, and Austin got the job done. And shout out CJ Fodry, who's been scoring all of a sudden for Austin FC in like bunches. So just shout out to him too. But
also Uzuni and Bakari have stepped up, like from where they started this season to where they are now. And I think like giving them time was the right choice, especially when you pay that much money and you bring in such an overhaul to your attack, and then Brandon Vasquez gets a season-ending injury like a couple months into the season. It's hard to get instant results, but I do think like where Austin's at now versus where I feel like this Austin team is one of those teams where every result is not surprising to me. Like they could go out this weekend and lose, or they could go out and win 4-0, and like both of those results would be like, okay, yeah, it's Austin. Like, you know what I mean with Austin? Like
they've gotten better. This is obviously not what the Austin we saw their inaugural season in 21, where they were fighting for, you know, top of the West and whatever.
I mean, they have a -4 goal differential, and they're sitting in the 6th spot.
But I'm saying, I think in terms of if you told me what the last few seasons have looked like for Austin FC, and then you told me this year they make the playoffs, one, not in the play-in game, and two, they win the U.S. Open Cup title, yeah, it's an improved for year one under Nico Estevez. It's a much improved Austin FC. I'll give them that credit. Is it perfect? Is it amazing? No, but it's something to build off of after year one is kind of where I'm at with Austin. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think what bothers me about Austin is they did put so much money into their attack, and they're one of the like lowest goal scoring teams in all of MLS. In that
Yeah,
they
I mean,
are the lowest goal scoring team that's currently in a playoff spot. They're
they've been without
19.
Brandon Vasquez. I'll just say that,
Yeah,
but
but you brought in Brandon Vasquez, but that was one of what, 20
three.
plus $1 million you spent. That
Yeah,
was 1/3 of the 20 to $30 million that was spent.
yeah.
So and I get, like, again, I personally think give players time. I feel like I preach that all the time, and Izuni and Bakari the same, but like
One of them I'll give time. I'll
one
be
of
honest,
them was here last season for a
Austin
little
FC
bit.
fan. I am over Osman Benkari. I don't think he is a DP caliber winger that he's really changing the game week in and week out.
I mean, they're not getting DP production from either, I would
I
say.
will
But
give Murto Lazuni a little bit more grace, a little bit more like he went from having to play with Brandon Vasquez in a two-striker formation to now Vasquez. This is all while adjusting to a new country, new
yeah,
league. Vasquez is out. Now I'm one up top. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
he's had to adjust
Now it's
a
like
good
all on
amount.
his shoulders, and obviously we know what Vasquez is capable of in MLS.
And I'll say Azuni, his last 10 games for Austin, he has 5 goals. Like
Yeah,
he's picking it up. I think he's adjusting and figuring it out too. So I'll give Azuni a little bit more grace. But Bukhari, I mean, if I was an Austin fan, I know he scored the first goal against Minnesota and whatever. I would be a little over the Bukhari experience, but that's just me.
yeah. I don't have a whole lot more to add, honestly.
All right, that is totally fine.
I'm
I'm
sorry,
excited.
Austin fans. I hope the best for you.
I am excited for the Open Cup final in what is it? Next Wednesday. So are we gonna ever be recording before next Wednesday? No, right? So do you wanna make a pick?
We could record before next Wednesday.
We could. You're right. You're right. Okay. We got this. We'll figure it
I
out.
mean, we'll do
We will
Tuesday during the day or something.
Jason and I will be talking before next Wednesday to preview the Open Cup a little bit more. Canadian Championship update. You are correct, Jason.
Yes,
We
we
did
got
get
our wish.
our wish. Vancouver FC defeated Ottawa Fury on a 3-2 aggregate in their semifinal matchup for the Canadian Championship last week. So we will have the Vancouver Whitecaps hosting Vancouver FC in a Canadian Championship final on October 1st as well. October 1st, you get Open Cup, you get Canadian Championship final, you get Campeones Cup. There's 2 that you should watch over the Campeones Cup. I'm just saying, but
I was like, does it what?
you do have 3 games on that day,
Oh,
all for
Campeones
trophies.
stuff is so annoying, man.
It's
Sorry, people who actually maybe like it or your team.
I mean, no one really likes it. I say we won it because it's a trophy, but no one really likes it. It's a glorified friendly. But Whitecaps, they defeated Valor FC and Forge FC to get to this final, where Vancouver FC, they defeated Pacific FC, Cavalry FC, and Atletico Ottawa to get to the final. I'm just happy for soccer in Canada. Like this is cool. The CPL is growing. They just announced the club in Montreal. Like that's fun.
I think
And
that's the biggest takeaway is like the CPL is kind of here now, like, and I don't know how many listeners actually follow the Canadian Premier League. Hopefully we have some listeners up in Vancouver or Montreal or Toronto or whatever.
we have Canadian listeners, yeah.
Good, yeah. We love you, Canadians. But yeah, I'm happy about it. I think any more competition and growth in North America in general is good. So I'm happy about it. I'm really excited for the Vancouver Derby. Like personally, I'm still like any world differently. I'm probably picking the underdog here, but I'm rolling with the Whitecaps. I'm sorry.
The
Just
only
gotta be that
reason
way.
why I want the Whitecaps to win is just because it's like This has been such a fantastic year for the Vancouver Whitecaps,
Yeah.
making the Champions Cup final. They're still in the push
This
for
is a
first in
Champions
the
Cup
West.
spot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
So
well,
it's
that'd
big
be actually sick oh man,
if we
if
saw a CPL
Vancouver
team.
FC.
Well,
Yeah, I would be happy for them a lot, but
we see CPL teams in Champions League. It's
there's
just
one spot.
I think it's two. I think the
Oh, God.
regular season winner and then like their playoff winner gets in. And then a third spot potentially is the Canadian Championship. That's off the
The
top.
only reason I'm picking them is because I picked them before the season started, and I pick them every single year. So,
Well, I think it would be nice. Jesper Sorensen's had a great first year. Like I said, Champions Cup
Yeah.
final, fighting for top of the West, still in the Shield race. Like this could still be. This is in terms of points and wins already the best season in Vancouver Whitecaps history.
Yeah.
This could continue to be adding to that. So I think it would just be fun.
it also feels like if they don't win something this year, it just doesn't feel right.
I
Based
agree.
on like how good they've been and
Is it
how
a failure of a
enjoyable.
season, Jason, if they
No.
don't win that?
No, not if you're Vancouver. Get out of here. We're not doing this year.
All right.
We're gonna start doing this with Miami in like 2 weeks. I just know it.
Yep, it's gonna happen. I will bring up the question. Just quickly touching on some MLS news. New England Revolution, Sporting Kansas City, LA Galaxy have all been officially eliminated from playoff contention after last week's results. New York City and LAFC, they secured their playoff spots after last week's results, and then Miami secured it in the 4-0 win at New York City midweek. Let's dive into some MLS talk, Jason. We're doing pretty good on time for talking 10 minutes about Fire, and I'm gonna wait.
I did see the time, and I was like, "Oh wow, we're actually kind of killing it."
We're doing it. It's like we've done this for 300 and almost 50 episodes. All right. So I'm not going to talk a bunch about New York City, right? Like they lost midweek. But I think in terms of last weekend's action of talking Charlotte FC, we should give Charlotte a little conversation here. So New York City did stop the MLS winning streak, the historic MLS winning streak for Charlotte FC at 9 games with a 2-0 win.
Ends in a tie, right? With
Seattle. Yeah, 2018 Seattle. Which, look, you're still at the top of the list, so good for you there. But Alonso Martinez had a penalty kick brace. He's now up to 17 goals on the MLS season, so shout out Alonso Martinez. But look, it was a strong game from New York City. They were still kind of riding their hot hand. Obviously for you, Jason, the record at the bottom has changed a little bit after the Miami loss. But for Charlotte, I mean, if I'm a Charlotte fan, I'm also kind of not upset that they lost this game. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's in my head, but if I had like a winning streak heading into the playoffs, like I wouldn't want to like have that be broken in the playoffs. Like I'm fine with take a 2-0 loss on the road. Now you have Montreal, DC, and Philly. Like just go finish strong. Like just go finish strong. That's how
I mean, I think the real point here is like, I don't know. I get what you're saying. Like you carry if they had kept winning.
Yeah.
And they did carry this into the playoffs.
14,
it'd be historic, and then it would be like you lost your 16th game, or the 16th game or whatever in the playoffs, and that would be pretty demoralizing. And be like, oh, we lost, and then there's that added pressure of like we're on this streak, which
when there's already pressure in the playoffs. So why do you need to add another thing to it? Does that make sense? Like again, that's how I view it. Maybe other fans or other people would be like, nah, just win just keep winning. Like why do you like? There's no
like your confidence is going to be so high. Why do you need to whatever? But I think for Charlotte, the big picture is like they played themselves into such a good position in the league, and regardless of the win streak and the season that they've had, where I feel like we've had 2 Charlottes. Like there's the Charlotte that started the season, I believe, pretty strong. Yeah. And then they went on that 5-game losing streak, a 3-game losing streak. And genuinely, like the comments coming out weren't great. Zaha was obviously upset at times. And then they went on that 9-game win streak and went from kind of like a play-in low playoff team to potentially a home playoff team. And that is huge for them. I think, especially in the East, where you're going to be playing tough games, having that home advantage for that first series is crucial.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, like, the Eastern Conference we've talked about and texted about it off
Yeah.
the podcast is
And I think since then, some of these teams have sort of flopped a bit. Like,
yeah.
I haven't been
Well,
Nashville's not on as good a form as they were. Orlando's kind of dropped a tiny bit.
when
Um,
you're the toughest teams
Columbus we
week in
talked
and week
about.
out,
Yeah.
like it's hard to, I think, kind of build up great form. But look, Charlotte, yes, I agree to your point. Like, I think if other results went other ways in the last week and a half, maybe Charlotte's we're still talking about in Shield conversation at this point. No, but the fact that they've pushed themselves up into a home playoff spot is completely fair. And to me, it almost comes from the after Patrick Ajiman transfer, right? Like after that, they like went with Toklamati as the starter. Toklamati's proven
He
he
looks good.
he is an MLS starting caliber striker, and maybe it just fit Dean Smith's system a little bit better. And I think this is the best version of Charlotte that.
And they did a lot of it without Pep Biel.
Yeah, Pep Biel's been injured. He's now slowly getting integrated back into the
Which
team.
is perfect. Like, you have a few games, get him back in there, get him fully match fit, ready for the playoffs. I think if you're a fan of Charlotte, you're feeling really good. Like, even with this loss, it was away to New York City, which obviously, is we've talked about a lot of, like, playing in a baseball stadium has actually been somewhat of a big advantage for New York City.
I want the new stadium to just be super fucking narrow. Just give me the narrowest stadium, man.
But I mean, I think if you're Charlotte, you're feeling really good. I think, like, despite this loss, the vibe should be pretty high over there. So
Especially with
I think regardless, I mean, sure, they have to finish the season strong. This, I mean, I better see Montreal at DC as wins if I'm going into the playoffs as Charlotte.
I agree.
But yeah.
All right, let's go into. I'll be honest. No, I did add them. Look at current Tom giving past Tom a pat on the back. I was gonna say I want to go into the West really quick because I always feel like we get super East focused, and I want to talk LAFC versus RSL.
Okay. I really did too.
You have some LAFC takes you want to throw out there, but LAFC on the past weekend, right? They took down RSL 4-1. Denis Bouanga hat trick. He's now up to 22-6 on the MLS season, 28-8 in all comps. Bouanga is the first ever MLS player to have 3 consecutive seasons of 20-plus goals scored. Heung-min Son scored the other goal in this one, and he's coming off his hat trick against RSL midweek. So, a few hat tricks against RSL. LAFC just, beating down Salt Lake City a little bit. But what is your LAFC take?
I mean, as someone who's like a Seattle truther, like, I'll be honest, LAFC is the strongest team in the West, in my opinion. And I'm ready to say it. And I'm ready to be like, this team going into the playoffs is the scariest of all of them. And we talked a little bit about Minnesota's issues at the moment. Vancouver is, I think, since their start of the season, not been the same. Hopefully, again, they win. San Diego is good, but I'm not. I mean, I've been saying this all year. I'm not sold, and they keep winning, so whatever. LAFC is terrifying to me.
Diego.
Look, LAFC has the games in hand to go and win the West, right? They are going to put themselves in a position to even be in the conversation for the Shield if they can win these remaining games, which are at St. Louis, home for Atlanta, home for Toronto, at Austin, at Colorado. That's 5 winnable games right there. And they're on a 3-game win streak. And this is kind of – my computer froze.
No, you're good. Okay, I hear you. I see
you. Anyway, this is like when I saw that first RSL game where Son had the hat trick, Bouanga literally put it on a plate for him for that third goal. And then they did each other's celebrations.
Yeah.
And
as friends
with huge smiles, and I said, "Oh, the league is so done." Like,
where can I quick comparison on that note, and then I'll let you continue. We're getting like Miggy Almiron, Josef Martinez, Atlanta United, like fucking when they did
like
Dragon
we
Ball
went
Z
into
thing.
We went into this going, "Oh man, like, is this gonna hurt Bouanga?" Like, I think everyone thought Heung-min Son was gonna be good, right? I know we got some comments about our comments, but regardless, we thought Heung-min Son was gonna be impactful. I didn't think him and Bouanga would form this type of like relationship this quickly on the field. Like, when he basically gifted Son his hat trick,
Yeah.
Bouanga got his solo goal in that game too. And then we saw it again where Bouanga gets a hat trick and Son gets a solo goal. And I said, this is crazy. And I
Did
know
you
it's
see?
RSL.
Did you see after the second RSL game, right? The 4-1 game that I brought up. They're like recording like everyone walking off the field after, I guess, the LAFC social media team, and then they ran up to Bouanga with his arm around Son, and Bouanga's like, he got his last week, now I got mine today. Him and Son are just like having a great fucking time. I
It's
love
just
it.
amazing. Like, I think that's really just my take. Like, this team is actually really scary because the connection was formed between their two best players so fast. And that's not even to, like, I didn't even mention half of the other players on this team that are good players. You know, Mark Delgado, Frankie Amaya. I don't know. I could name half the team, right? They have a good defense. This is a team that's going to be a force. And I think if I were to choose right now, depending on how the conference standings end up shaking out, because like I think Seattle and LAFC are still the two strongest teams in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
LAFC versus Seattle would be my like semifinal.
I disagree on Seattle and LAFC being the two strongest teams. I think Vancouver you have to throw into that conversation. Like it's a little unfair to not have Vancouver
Fair.
up in the combo. But I think those are the three.
Okay, yeah, those are the three. I'm fine with saying those are the three. I
The
think Seattle is just a different beast when it comes to playoff
playoff
games.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fair. I mean, look, the form
Plus, they just like the
Leagues
form
Cup
post
that's
League Cup
great.
isn't good, but like, did they not go take a playoff atmosphere in Leagues Cup and dominate?
Fair. Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, the results on the field
Add in Vancouver. You're right.
haven't
You're right.
been
You're right.
there. But I think you have
It,
to add Vancouver. Yeah, San Diego's a big question mark to me. They're losing like 4 players to the U20 World Cup, and like they already had a pretty thin roster to begin with, so that has some concerns for me.
anyway, my takeaway is Heung-min Son is easily hitting 10 goals and assists.
Well, I was going to say the two things I wanted to finish up with LAFC. Well, 3 things. Sorry, Son, 100%. At this point, he's at 8 goal contributions in 7 games. Yeah, I think he'll hit that 10+ goal mark.
I don't remember what I said. I think I said 12 or something, and you were like, "No way."
That's fine. 10 is still fine.
He's gonna hit over 10.
The second thing that
5
I
games
wanted
left. He's gonna hit 15 maybe.
The second thing I wanted to give LAFC some credit for is obviously right. Like they had the season-ending injuries to Aaron Long and Igor Jesus. We've talked about it on this podcast. Cherundolo has adapted really well into pushing this team into like a 3-4-3 almost, and kind of usually when you lose center backs, I don't know why we always then see the team go to 3 center backs, but like it's worked. Like in Kosi Tafari, Eddie Segura, Ryan Porteous, like they've done really well in a back 3 so far. So I want to give them Cherundolo and the team.
I also feel like this team has like good wing backs, like to be able to do a back 3.
Ryan Hollingshead might be the best wingback in MLS history. He is just so underrated, and I'm a Ryan Hollingshead dude. And then Sergi Palencia, Smolotov has been good in his first season. The third thing that I wanted to mention about LAFC: do you have concerns over the teams that they've beaten in this last stretch? They have not beaten a team that is currently in a playoff spot since mid-July with a 1-0 win over Minnesota.
Let's see, how many teams have they played in that time that's currently in a playoff spot? 2?
1.
I guess you could consider the Fire.
2, 3, 4.
Oh, Dallas.
Yeah, 4.
I mean, I'm not that concerned. Like, I get what you're saying, and that is like when you.
And I'm not saying figuring out something amazing here. I'm just saying like the quality of teams hasn't been there.
But also the teams like Son wasn't there for some of those games,
That's fair.
and I think the impact Son has had
has
made them a different beast. I mean, they have 3 straight games now with 4 goals, and I get like. Yeah, it's against San Jose and then 2 against RSL where they just dominated. But I think the way they're playing is different now.
I, I'm not disagreeing with you. I just think, I want to see him.
And if I were to take any team that has playoff experience, this is one of those teams that's like they're not going to go into the playoffs like, what is this?
No,
Like
you're fair.
we've been
You're
here
right.
before.
Yeah, you're 100% fair on that. All right, let's be good on time. Is there any other team storyline, anything going on around MLS that you want to mention before we get to the games of the weekend?
I kind of want to say the Fire, but like we did a Fire conversation, so I don't
Well,
really
just
need
give
to.
me your high level Fire.
I just think like we're in a position with the Fire where like this could be the best finish we've had in a decade. I'd have to probably look, but
Decade,
probably
sure,
like
yeah.
beating Minnesota over the weekend 3-0 is huge at Minnesota.
I mean, Minnesota down bad right now, but yes, it's big.
I mean, I get that, but New York also won versus Montreal. Like, we
Yeah,
needed to win that. Like, we needed those points, and we're going to need every point. Like,
agree.
basically, they're playing versus the Rebels for that final play-in spot, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
between those two teams. We have 4 games. I think they have 3. I want to say, yeah.
You guys are up a game on them. Yeah.
Which means like we have a good chance at it, but we also get Columbus next and then at Miami. So before finishing with Toronto and New England, both of those I would hope would be wins because they're going to have to be. Hopefully we can get points off of Columbus or Miami, but the way Miami's playing feels like they're playing for the Shield.
So I was gonna say, we can turn this into a Fire convo quick, but let's just look at that kind of final Eastern spot between the Red Bulls and the Fire is what we're assuming.
Yeah.
You guys have.
By the way, Columbus has to play both the Fire and the Red Bulls, and they're 5 points ahead of the Fire. So there's like a world where one of those teams jumps Columbus.
I
mean, it's a
that would be
pretty
wild.
I think it's a pretty like I wouldn't say unrealistic, but like probably low percentage chance.
Yeah, I would say that's less of a chance. But I think I was texting you. I was like looking at the schedules and I was like, I think realistically, if the Fire get 4 points in these last 4 games, it's without a doubt that you guys get that final playoff spot and the Red Bulls are eliminated. Red Bulls have to face a Hudson River Derby game this weekend, right? Like, I don't even care if New York City sucked at this point. Like, that type of game is always just going to be tougher. Then they host Cincinnati, which I think they play Cincinnati pretty well, but again, it's a tough team. And then they go away to Columbus on decision day, where you guys, yes, have Columbus this weekend, an injury-packed Columbus Crew team. Then you have to travel to Miami midweek. That's a tough game. And then, you finish with Toronto and New England. I think you guys do it. I mean, I'm not trying to put it out there as like a jinx or anything. I'll knock on wood.
I will say, with a game over Nashville and Columbus, it's not like crazy to think that if we beat Columbus, there's a world where we overtake Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a big game for you guys this weekend. If you beat Columbus, you are in prime position to host the play-in game spot, and which is a big deal, which is 100%.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a huge difference. Like, if we host a playing game, I feel very different than if we're going somewhere for a playing game. But regardless, I'm feeling good about the season, and we talked about it earlier. So let's see. Next time we talk, we're going to have a lot clearer idea because a lot of these teams will have 2 games left.
I think that, and then every single week, there's just more and more confusion to the Shield, to the standings, to all of it. But I mean, like, look, bro, the supporter shield is a crazy conversation in its own right that we probably shouldn't squeeze in at the end of an episode. But like,
the supporter shield feels like a too long of a conversation to have with 4 weeks remaining or 3-ish weeks remaining.
I will say 2 weeks ago we talked about the Shield and I was like, there's 8 teams that can realistically win it. I think that number's down to 5. So I think we're like slowly working our way.
6.
I don't think Minnesota's realistically.
I'm not saying Minnesota. I'm putting LAFC in there.
No, not at.
They're on 29 games played.
That's 6 points, 56.
If they get they'd be at 56 points. So if you put Vancouver in, well, I guess Vancouver's on 30, and I think Vancouver's obviously in that conversation. But they'd be 1 point below San Diego right now. let's see Philly's the real one here because
Philly
they're in the
controls their own
driver's
death,
seat, and they
100%.
have at DC this weekend where they can probably win that home for New York.
Ultimately, look,
We're getting into it. We're getting in
I
the
will
weeds here.
I will say sure, 6 teams. Throw LAFC in there. That's fine. I don't think LAFC do it, but that's totally fine.
Okay, well, I don't think some of these other teams do it either, but
I mean, look, I don't think San Diego does it, but they're mathematically in the race. I can see Vancouver doing it. I can see Miami. I can see
I
Philly. I
mean,
can
I
see
think
Cincy.
if you were to like put money on it, I would probably put money on Miami simply because the rest of their schedule is pretty easy
Yeah.
and they have the most games remaining. And if they like, they would be higher than if we're going points per game, they are basically on Philly's level.
I said this to you. My nerdy ass went through and predicted all the games for the rest
Or
of the
they're
season.
above Philly actually if they win the two in hand.
Yes. And I mean, look, maybe this is just I was pissed off about New York City losing to them, but I do have Miami winning the Shield. The only issue with Miami and Vancouver is in the same category, and LAFC is schedule congestion towards the end of the
Yeah.
season. Is it too many games back
And
to back
is it worth? Well, probably the answer is yes, but is it worth risking your health for the
for the
playoffs
Shield? Yeah.
for the Shield?
And I
That's sort
think
of a
that's a club by club
yeah.
determination, you know. So
Well,
we
and
would
it's like, are you like, does Messi play all 90 minutes?
I would
We don't.
assume yes. I think that dude does not want to come off the field at
I
all.
also think he wants more trophies. Like, I
I
think
mean,
he's
yeah,
wired that way. Oh, obviously, he is wired that way. But
100%. The only thing that I wanted to say before we get into your picks or your games of the weekend, Jason, is FC Dallas versus Colorado. Dallas, you know, they've been playing really good soccer as of late, like very quietly in the West. Do I think it's LAFC level? No. Do I think I'm picking FC Dallas to come out of the Western Conference? No. But I think I gotta just give FC Dallas some credit. Undefeated in their last 6. Peitar Musa has been scoring like an absolute fiend as of late. He's up to 16 goals on the season. Him and Logan Farrington have been connecting like a ton. Logan Farrington, friend of the pod, shout out. But like the this Dallas team, like if you just take a look at this wild Western Conference, like FC Dallas with their form, I think can play themselves into like quote unquote regular playoff spot. And
big
they have
game
a
this
game in
weekend
hand.
for them versus Portland.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying is like I think Dallas can get into that conversation. Again, am I sitting here saying this is, you know, unbelievable and watch out for FC Dallas? No, but year 1 under Eric Quill, I think they're clicking at the right time. I also think they're undefeated or something like that since Lucho Acosta's left the team, which is
I think they
wild.
are under. No, yeah,
And
I read that as well, and I was like, wow, interesting.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's 6 weeks, 3 wins, 3 draws.
yeah. So shout out. And yeah, this is where we are. Jason,
Lucho Acosta perhaps killed his legacy better than any player I've ever seen. Like, honestly,
yeah,
just
yeah. His exit at DC to his exit at Cincy to his exit
to
at
his exit at Dallas, it's like
yeah,
it just got progressively worse, and now
yeah.
it's like, and now with how Dallas is doing, it's like, well, addition by subtraction, I guess.
Shout out Lucho Acosta. I'm gonna look up what he's doing while you tell me your games of the
We've
weekend.
got some good ones on Saturday, and I think I'm gonna do like a top 3 here because there's 3 really good ones, and 2 we've already talked about, which is the Hudson River Derby, New York Red Bulls versus NYCFC. Obviously, that's important based on what we've already talked about. The Fire versus Columbus. Obviously, that's important based on our conversations.
Yeah,
Um, and I think Seattle versus Vancouver as the night game is going to be a really good night game. Um,
yeah. Little
and then
cascade.
Sunday we got one game. It's just Cincinnati versus Orlando. I shouldn't say
Which
just
one?
Cincinnati versus Orlando because that also has some pretty potential shield race for Cincy / does Orlando keep where they are in the East, which is a risky, every game counts in the East.
I don't know about you, but I'm having 2 screens on. it's going to be LA Galaxy versus Sporting Kansas City and the Revs versus Atlanta. I'm a true MLS fan, okay? I don't care if they're eliminated. It's it. I'm watching until the end.
Interesting choice, but I won't sit here and say anything's wrong about it.
I will finish up this episode, Jason, with Lucho Acosta down in Brazil has played in 8 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. That is my closing piece to this podcast. So
no comment.
No comment. Jason, thank you for the last hour and 5 minutes of your life. Listeners, viewers, thank you for the last hour and 5 minutes of your life. We will talk to you guys next
They probably
week.
put us on 1.5 speed.
Yeah. I mean, you know what?
I do it. I do it all the time.
It depends on the podcast. Like certain people like talk fast already. So like 1.5 speed just gets a little
I like
crazy.
it though, where it's like, oh, it's an hour. I can do that in 40 minutes.
Yeah. You know what? So thank you for the last 40 minutes of your life. And we will talk to you guys next week.